Welcome to English Stories for Listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you genuinely want to be fluent in English.
How to talk to people in English. I stood in the middle of the coffee shop, heart beating fast, hands shaking, eyes staring at the smiling barista. She had just said something. I had no idea what. I smiled, nodded, and said, yes. I don't know what I agreed to. Maybe to marry her. Maybe to pay for 10 coffees. I don't know. Everyone behind me was waiting. I felt small, stupid, like I didn't belong, like my English wasn't good enough, like I wasn't good enough. That day, I promised myself something. I will learn to talk to people in English. No more fear, no more silence. English is not just a language. It is a bridge, a door, a key. If you can speak, you can live better. You can find better work, make new friends, travel, share your ideas, learn new things, feel free. But the problem is, many people feel scared. They worry. What if I make a mistake? What if people laugh at me? What if they don't understand me? I know that feeling. I lived it. But I also know this. You can learn to talk to people in English. You really can. I'll tell you how. But more than that, I'll show you what changed my life. Chapter 1. Why English conversation feels hard. I remember the first time I tried to speak English to a real person. His name was Jordan. He worked in a small grocery store near my apartment. I had practiced the sentence all day. It was simple. Do you have brown bread? Just 5 words. I said it again and again in my room, in the mirror, like an actor. But when I saw him, my mind became empty. I forgot the sentence. My tongue felt heavy. I looked at him and only said, bread? He looked at me, confused. I felt so embarrassed. I quickly walked away without buying anything. That moment stayed with me for weeks. I avoided the store. I avoided people. I felt like maybe I could never speak English well. Why is it so hard to talk to people in English, even when you know the words? You study grammar, you learn vocabulary, you watch English videos, and maybe you understand a lot. But when it's time to speak, you freeze. That's not your fault, and you are not alone. Many people feel the same. It's not just about words. It's about fear. It's about pressure. It's about the voice in your head that says, don't make a mistake, or they will laugh at you. When we speak our native language, we don't think, we just talk. But when we speak English, we think too much. We try to translate, we try to remember grammar, we try to speak fast, we try to sound smart. And all of that thinking makes it harder. The brain becomes too busy, and when your brain is busy, your mouth stops. Another reason English conversation feels hard is because of the way we learn. In school, we learn English like math. We write, we read, we memorize, but we don't practice real talking. So when the time comes to speak, we feel lost. It's like learning how to swim by reading a book, but never jumping in the water. You may understand everything, but your body doesn't know how to do it. Also, we compare ourselves. We hear fluent speakers, fast talkers, native accents, and we feel small. We think we must speak like them, or we are not good. That is a lie. You don't have to speak perfect English. You just have to speak. Your English is not a test. It's a tool, a bridge, a way to connect. Nobody will hate you for trying. In fact, most people will respect you more for your courage. I once asked a friend who is a native English speaker, "Do you ever feel nervous when you speak another language?" She said, "Yes, all the time." And she smiled. That helped me a lot. I realized nervousness is not the enemy. Fear is not the enemy. Silence is the enemy. Staying quiet when your heart wants to speak, that is the real problem. And I didn't want to stay quiet anymore. Another thing that makes English conversation hard is the speed. Native speakers talk fast. They use slang, they cut words. Instead of saying, "How are you?" they say, "How you doing?" Instead of "I'm going to," they say, "I'm gonna." It feels like a different language. But that's normal English too. That's real life English. Nobody speaks like a textbook. And that's something I had to learn slowly. I remember watching a movie without subtitles once. I caught 5 words in the whole film. It was like watching a storm of sound. But slowly, day by day, I got better. I stopped trying to understand every word. I listened for the feeling, the tone, the rhythm. I started to enjoy the music of English. I stopped chasing perfection. I started chasing connection. And you know what helped me the most? Small conversations. I started with tiny moments, saying hi to my neighbor, saying thank you to the bus driver, asking how much at the market. These small wins gave me power. They gave me hope. I learned that English is not learned in big steps. It is learned in small, brave moments. If you feel English conversation is hard, please don't feel weak. It's normal, but it is not forever. You can learn, you can change, you can grow. I did it. And if someone like me, who couldn't even ask for bread without panic, can do it, then you can too. I promise. Now let me ask you something. Are you ready to break this fear? Are you ready to speak, even with mistakes? Are you ready to grow? Chapter 2. Shift your mindset, not just your grammar. There was a moment in my English journey that changed everything for me. It didn't happen in a classroom. It didn't happen during a grammar lesson. It happened on a rainy Tuesday in a quiet park when I sat on a bench next to an old man named Robert. He was feeding birds. I was just sitting there thinking about how bad my English was. I didn't plan to talk to him, but he looked at me, smiled, and said, "Beautiful day, huh?" I was nervous. I didn't understand everything, but I smiled back and said, "Yes, but rain." He laughed kindly and said, "Rain's not bad. It makes you grow." That moment stayed in my heart. He wasn't just talking about the weather. He was talking about life. And I realized something important. Maybe I didn't need to be perfect. Maybe I just needed to be present. That old man didn't correct my grammar. He didn't laugh at my mistake. He connected with me. And for the first time in a long time, I felt good about speaking English. Most English learners think their problem is grammar. They say, "I can't speak because I don't know enough grammar." So they study more rules, more tenses, more textbooks. But that's not the real reason they're stuck. The real reason is mindset. It's what they believe about themselves. If you believe that mistakes are bad, you will stay silent. If you believe that people will judge you, you will feel afraid. But if you believe that your voice matters, that it's okay to be wrong, that people are kind, you will speak, you will grow, and you will improve faster than you can imagine. When you shift your mindset, you shift your life. That is the real secret. Let me tell you a truth I learned the hard way. You can know all the grammar in the world, but if you don't believe in yourself, you won't open your mouth. Confidence is not something you wait for. It's something you build. It doesn't fall from the sky. It grows every time you try. Every time you say something, even if it's not perfect, you become stronger. Every hello, every excuse me, every I don't understand is a brick in the house of your confidence. Slowly, brick by brick, you build the courage to speak to anyone. When I was learning English, I used to say to myself, I must speak like a native speaker. But that belief made me feel small. It made me feel like I was always behind, always not enough. One day, I asked myself, why do I have to sound like a native speaker? Can't I just sound like me? That question set me free. I stopped trying to erase my accent. I stopped trying to copy every fast phrase. I started being proud of my voice. My accent tells my story. My mistakes show that I'm learning. My voice is mine, and it's powerful. You don't have to be perfect to be proud. You don't have to sound American or British to be respected. You just have to be real, be clear, be you. Another big change in my mindset came when I stopped seeing mistakes as problems. I started seeing them as teachers. Every time I made a mistake, I asked, what is this trying to teach me? If I used the wrong word, I learned the right one. If I didn't understand someone, I asked them to repeat. Every mistake was a message that said, you're learning, keep going. I used to feel shame after every mistake. Now, I feel excited, because every mistake brings me closer to fluency. A big part of mindset is also how we talk to ourselves. Some people say to themselves, I'm not good at English. I always forget words. I'm too shy to speak. My English is bad. And guess what? Your brain listens. Your brain believes you. But what if you started saying, I'm learning. I'm improving. I speak better today than I did yesterday. That changes everything. Your brain starts working for you, not against you. Language is not just something we learn with books. It's something we grow with belief. Let me tell you another story. My friend Maria moved to the US from Colombia. She had studied English for years, but she was afraid to speak. At work, she only spoke Spanish. One day, her boss asked her to give a short presentation in English. She panicked. She thought about quitting, but instead she said, "This is my chance." She practiced every sentence. She told herself, "I'm ready, I'm strong, I can do this." And she did. Her presentation was not perfect, but everyone clapped. After that, she started speaking more English every day. Today, she leads meetings in English, not because her grammar is perfect, but because her mindset is powerful. That is the power of belief. So now, I ask you, What do you believe about yourself? Do you believe you can speak English with confidence? Do you believe your voice matters? If your answer is yes, then you are already halfway there. And if your answer is no, then let's change that together. You don't need more grammar books. You need more courage. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be brave. And it all begins with one small thought. I can do this. Because you can. Chapter 3. Build confidence before you speak. Before I ever spoke a full sentence in English to someone new, I used to walk alone in the evening and talk to myself. I'd pretend I was ordering food, talking to a stranger, asking for directions. I did this for weeks. At first, I felt silly. I thought, what am I doing? I'm just talking to the air. But something strange happened. After a few days, I started speaking faster. I didn't need to stop and search for words. I didn't feel nervous. I was just speaking. And in those quiet walks where no one could hear me, I built something stronger than vocabulary. I built confidence. Confidence is not magic. It doesn't suddenly appear when you need it. It grows in silence, in small moments, in private practice, before the real test. Think of it like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. So if you want to talk to people in English, don't wait for the big conversation to start practicing. Start now. Talk to yourself. Talk to the mirror. Talk to your dog. Talk to your pillow. It may sound funny, but it works. It prepares your mind. It prepares your mouth. It makes English feel natural. Many learners wait for confidence to come before they speak. But that's like waiting to be strong before you go to the gym. It doesn't work like that. You have to start first, even when you feel weak, even when you feel scared. Then, step by step, you become confident. The action comes first. The confidence comes later. Here's a small exercise I used to do. Every morning, I stood in front of the mirror and said 5 sentences in English. Simple ones, like, I am learning. I will speak English today. I am not afraid to make mistakes. I am growing every day. My English matters. I didn't always believe them at first, but I said them anyway. And over time, my brain started to believe me. These small words became big power. Another way to build confidence is by creating safe spaces to practice. You don't need a big crowd. You don't need an English class. You just need one person, a friend, a sibling, even a language partner online. Someone who listens without judgment. Someone who helps, not corrects every word. When you talk to someone who supports you, you feel safe. And when you feel safe, you speak more. And when you speak more, your fear becomes smaller. There's a girl I met online named Aisha. She's from Sudan. She wanted to improve her English but was too shy to join big groups. So we started voice chatting once a week. At first, she only said 2 or 3 words, then full sentences, then stories. Now, she teaches English to kids in her town. Her secret? A safe space. One person, no pressure, just practice. Confidence also grows when you remember your wins. Don't forget the small things you did right. Maybe you said thank you at the store. Maybe you understood a joke in a movie. Maybe you helped someone using English. Write it down. Celebrate it. Success is not always big. Sometimes it's hidden in quiet moments. But if you look, you'll see them. And those small wins become your proof. Proof that you are improving. Another important thing, stop judging yourself. Many learners think, my accent is bad. My grammar is wrong. I sound stupid. These are lies. Your accent is beautiful. Your grammar is growing. You sound brave. English is not your first language, and that is nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, it's something to be proud of. You are learning something millions of people never even try to do. Let me tell you about Peter, a man I met at a language event in New York. He was from China. His grammar was okay. His accent was strong. But he had something special: confidence. He spoke with heart. He smiled when he spoke. He looked into people's eyes. And people loved talking to him. Why? Because conversation is not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about showing up with your voice, with your story, with your heart. That's what confidence is. It's not loud, it's not fast. It's real. It's you saying, I may not know every word, but I'm still here. I still speak. I still try. That is powerful. That is what people remember. So how do you build confidence before you speak? You speak to yourself. You find safe people. You celebrate small wins. You stop judging. You show up every day. You speak, even when your hands shake. You speak, even when your voice is soft. And one day, you will speak without fear. And that day will change everything. I remember standing outside a small community center in Dallas. There was an English-speaking club meeting that evening. I had walked by the door 3 times already. I wanted to go in, but my hands were cold. My stomach was tight. I didn't know anyone inside. What would I say? What if they looked at me and waited for me to speak? What if I opened my mouth and nothing came out? I stood there for almost 15 minutes, and then I whispered to myself, just say hello. Just start with hello. That's what I did. I walked in, smiled at the first person I saw, and said, "Hi, my name is Daniel." That's it. He smiled back and said, "Hey Daniel, welcome." And just like that, I was inside. You see, conversations don't begin with big words. They begin with small ones, simple phrases, warm greetings, easy questions. These are the keys to unlock connection, the tools to break the ice. You don't need complicated grammar to talk to people. You need bravery, and you need a few easy phrases that work every time. Hi, how are you? This is a classic. It's simple, but it opens the door. You don't need to sound perfect. You can even say, "Hey, how you doing?" Just like many native speakers do. Practice saying it until it feels natural. Say it in front of a mirror. Say it to your friends. Say it to the bus driver. Say it to the woman at the bakery. Every time you use it, you build a little bridge between you and another person. Another helpful phrase. What's your name? People love to hear their own names. And when you ask someone their name, you show them you care, that you want to know them, and it makes them feel comfortable with you. When they tell you, smile and repeat their name. That helps you remember and keeps the conversation going. When you meet someone new, try this. Nice to meet you, or even more friendly, great to meet you. These phrases are small but strong. They show good manners, they show kindness, and they make you sound like a real English speaker, even if you only say a few sentences. Sometimes the best way to continue a conversation is with a question. And the best questions are short and simple, like, what do you do? Where are you from? Do you live around here? What do you like to do for fun? These questions are friendly, not too personal, and they invite people to share. And when someone answers, just listen. You don't need to speak a lot. You just need to smile, nod, and respond with interest. Say, "Oh, that's cool," or "Really, that's interesting." These small responses keep the conversation alive. If you ever feel stuck, here's a magic phrase. "Sorry, my English is not perfect." You might think this shows weakness, but actually, it shows courage. People will not judge you. In fact, they will often smile and speak slower. They will respect you for trying, and they may even help you. I've seen this happen again and again. One of the best phrases to remember is, "Can you say that again, please?" It's polite, it's clear, and it's powerful. If you don't understand something, don't just smile and pretend. Ask, learn, grow. People will appreciate your honesty. You are not expected to understand everything. You are expected to try. Also, don't be afraid to use phrases like, "I'm still learning English. I love practicing English. Can we speak slowly? Can I ask you something?" These phrases do two things. They tell the other person where you are in your journey, and they open a path for real conversation. When you want to leave a conversation but you still want to be polite, try, "It was nice talking with you. Hope to see you again. Take care." These phrases leave a good feeling behind. They make people remember you in a good way, and they show that you are kind and thoughtful, even with just a few words. Here's a story. My friend Elena from Brazil was very shy. She knew a lot of English, but she never used it. One day, she went to a birthday party and decided to speak only in English for 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. She prepared a few phrases. "Hi, I'm Elena. I'm from Brazil. Nice to meet you. I'm learning English." That's all. And guess what? People talked with her. They smiled. They helped her. And after 10 minutes, she didn't stop. She spoke for almost an hour. She was so happy after that night. She said, "I thought I needed perfect grammar, but all I needed was to start." That's the truth. Simple phrases are powerful. They are like keys in your hand. You don't need to unlock every door. Just open one. And from there, you take the next step. So don't wait for the perfect sentence. Use the ones you have. Start with hello. Ask, how are you? Say, nice to meet you. And let the conversation begin. Are you ready to explore the next part of the journey? Chapter 5. How to keep a conversation going. There's something exciting about starting a conversation in English. You feel proud, a little nervous, but mostly strong. You walk up to someone, say, "Hi, how are you?" and they reply with a smile. But then, silence. You nod, they nod, and the words stop. Your heart beats faster. You want to say something more, but your mind goes blank. You start thinking, what should I say now? This moment happens to almost every English learner. Starting is hard, but keeping a conversation going can feel even harder. But don't worry, there are easy ways to keep talking, and you don't need big grammar to do it. You just need a little strategy and a little heart. One thing I learned is this: a good conversation is like a game of catch. You throw the ball, they catch it, then they throw it back. You say something, they answer, then you respond. That's it. It doesn't have to be fast or perfect. It just has to move. Let me show you how. Imagine you ask, "Where are you from?" And the other person says, "I'm from Canada." Now don't just say, "Oh." That ends the game. Instead, throw the ball back. You can say, "Oh, cool. I heard Canada is very cold. Is it true?" Now the conversation continues. Or you can say, "Wow, I want to visit someday. Which city are you from?" Just by asking one more question, you keep the door open. Here's a simple trick. Use follow-up questions. These are small, easy questions that show you are listening and want to know more. If someone says they are a teacher, you can ask, "Oh, nice. What subject do you teach? How long have you been teaching? Do you like it?" If they say they enjoy cooking, ask, "What's your favorite thing to cook? Who taught you how to cook? Do you cook every day?" These follow-up questions are like friendly bridges. They connect your sentence to theirs and help the conversation go deeper. Another way to keep the conversation going is by using comments. Instead of asking more questions, sometimes it's nice to say something about what the person said. For example, person: "I love dogs." You: "Me too. Dogs are such loyal friends." Person: "I'm learning French." You: "That's great. Learning a new language is not easy." Person: "I work in a hospital." You: "Wow, that must be a very hard and important job." When you make comments like this, you show that you care. You show that you're interested. And people like to talk to those who listen with care. You can also share something about yourself. This makes the conversation feel more balanced. It's not just about asking and listening, it's also about sharing your story. Like this. Person: "I love watching movies." You: "Oh, me too. I just watched a comedy last night." Person: "I play the guitar." You: "That's so cool. I've always wanted to learn. I like music a lot." When you do this, the other person feels connected to you. They see you as a real person, not just a student learning English. And that makes the conversation natural. Another helpful tool is using small words like, "Really?" "Wow." "Oh no." "That's great." "I see." These words may be short, but they keep the energy of the conversation alive. They help show emotion, interest, and feeling. And in spoken English, feelings matter just as much as words. I once had a conversation with a tourist from Japan. We started talking about food. I asked him, "What's your favorite dish?" He said, "Sushi." I smiled and said, "Of course, but is sushi in Japan very different from sushi in America?" He laughed and said, Very different. Then we talked for 15 minutes, just about rice and fish and chopsticks. It started small, but it became something special. That's the magic of follow-up. Now, sometimes the conversation goes quiet. That's okay. Don't panic. Silence is normal. You don't have to speak every second. Just take a breath, smile, and try to change the topic gently. You can say things like, "By the way, do you like music? Can I ask you something? Oh, that reminds me. Have you ever tried?" These little phrases help you switch topics naturally. It's like changing the channel on a TV, but in a soft, friendly way. Also, pay attention to the other person's body language. Are they smiling? Are they looking around? Do they seem tired or bored? If someone doesn't want to talk, don't take it personally. Just say something kind and end the conversation politely. Well, it was nice talking to you. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for the chat. Good conversations don't have to be long. Even 5 minutes of real, warm talking can change your day. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Here's the truth. You don't need fancy words to connect. You don't need a perfect accent. You just need to care, to listen, and to share. Conversation is not about showing off your English. It's about showing your heart. So the next time you start talking with someone, remember this. Ask, then follow up. Listen, then comment. Smile, then share. Pause, then continue. And always, always be kind. Chapter 6. Listening is your superpower. There's something nobody told me when I started learning English. They told me to speak more. They told me to memorize more words. They told me to improve my grammar. But no one told me this. Listening is your superpower. Yes, speaking is important. Yes, vocabulary helps. But listening, deep, patient, careful listening, can change the way you learn, speak, and connect in English. It did for me, and it can do the same for you. I learned this one quiet morning on the subway in New York. I was sitting near two women talking in English. I didn't know them. I didn't speak. I didn't interrupt. I just listened. They were talking fast, very fast. At first, it was like music without meaning, but slowly I began to catch small things. You know what I mean? Like, totally. I was like, no way. These were real, natural phrases, not from a textbook, not from school, but from real life. And in just 10 minutes of listening, I learned more than I had in one whole day of class. That was the day I understood that listening is not passive. It's powerful. When you listen, really listen, your brain starts to work in the background. You begin to notice patterns. You hear how words flow. You catch common phrases. You hear the rhythm of real conversation. And all of that becomes a part of you, even if you don't repeat it right away. It stays inside. And one day, when you're ready to speak, it comes out naturally. Many learners try to speak better by only practicing speaking. But that's like trying to play the piano by only pressing keys without listening to the sound. You have to hear how others speak. You have to know what sounds right and what sounds strange. That's how your brain learns the music of English. When I started listening more, everything changed. I listened to English podcasts while walking. I listened to English songs while cleaning. I watched English TV with subtitles first, then without. But I didn't just listen for fun. I listened with a purpose. I listened with full attention. I asked myself, what words do they use often? How do they answer questions? How do they say yes or no in different ways? This kind of listening is like training your ears and brain to think in English. Let me tell you about my friend Samira. She's from Egypt. When I first met her, she was very shy. She didn't speak much, but she was always listening. In every group, she sat quietly, smiled, and listened. People thought she didn't understand much, but a few months later, she surprised everyone. She started speaking fluently, using words and phrases that even native speakers admired. Her secret? She had been listening carefully the whole time. She didn't rush to speak. She prepared in silence, and when she was ready, she spoke with confidence. This is something you can do too. Every day, find time to listen. You don't need hours. Even 10 minutes a day can change your life. Choose something you enjoy. A story, a video, a conversation, even a cartoon. Listen again and again. First for understanding, then for pronunciation, then for style. Listen like a detective, looking for clues in every sentence. And here's a trick. Repeat what you hear. This is called shadowing. You listen to a sentence, then you say it out loud, just like an echo. It helps your mouth move like a native speaker's. It helps your brain think faster in English. You can do this with short audio clips or even YouTube videos. Just press play, pause, repeat. Over time, you will notice that your own speaking improves, without even thinking too hard. Listening also helps you become a better speaker because it teaches you how real conversations work. When do people pause? When do they laugh? When do they change topics? These are small details, but they are the heart of natural English. You won't find these in grammar books. You'll only find them by listening. And you know what else listening gives you? Confidence. When you understand what others say, you feel braver. You don't feel lost. You feel like part of the world. And that feeling gives you strength to respond, to join, to share your voice. Listening also makes you kind. When you really listen to someone, you make them feel important. You show them respect. And people love to talk to good listeners. It's not always about saying the right words. Sometimes it's about hearing them. So if you ever feel like you're not good enough at speaking, I want you to ask yourself this: how much am I listening? Because maybe the answer isn't in more words. Maybe it's in more silence, in more focus, in more love for the language and its sound. From today, I want you to treat your ears like treasure. Protect your listening time. Make it special. Choose what you love and listen with your whole heart. Let the English world enter your mind through your ears. Let it sit there, grow there, become part of you. That is how true fluency begins. And remember this: you don't have to speak first to be a good English learner. You just have to listen deeply. Speak after you listen. Speak with the power that comes from knowing what feels right, because listening is not the end of learning. It is the beginning. I remember the day I sat alone in the park with my notebook. I was tired, not tired from walking, but tired from thinking too much. Every time I tried to speak English, my brain had to do too many things. First, I thought in my own language. Then I tried to translate it. Then I looked for English words. Then I checked the grammar in my mind. By the time I opened my mouth, the moment was gone. The other person had already moved on, or they looked confused, or they smiled politely and said, "Sorry?" That word hurt me. Sorry? Like I was wrong, like I had failed. But I didn't give up. One day, my teacher told me something simple but powerful. She said, "Stop thinking in your language. Think in English." I laughed. How could I do that? I didn't even have enough English words to think with. But she smiled and said, "Start small, start easy, but start." That night I tried. I looked at my cup of tea and said in my mind, "This tea is hot." I looked at my phone and said, "I want to check my messages." I looked at the window and thought, "It is raining." At first it felt strange. My thoughts were slow, my words were simple, but it was working. I was training my brain to use English first, not second. Thinking in English is not magic. It's a habit. Just like you learn to ride a bicycle or use a mobile phone. At first, you fall. You press the wrong button. You go slow. But then, one day, it becomes natural. Your brain becomes your friend. It helps you. It gives you words without asking. You see a cat and your brain says cat, not the word in your language. You feel hungry and your brain says, "Let's eat something." This is powerful. This is freedom. To think in English, start with your day. Talk to yourself in your head. Describe what you see, what you do, what you want. I am brushing my teeth. I am wearing a blue shirt. I need to leave now. It's okay if it's simple. It's okay if it's not perfect. Just speak in your mind. You don't need grammar books for this. You don't need a teacher. You just need your own brain and a little time each day. Another way is to write your thoughts in English. Don't worry about mistakes. Write a diary, a short message, one line, one paragraph. For example, today I felt sad because I missed my family. Or, I saw a nice dog and I smiled. These are real thoughts, real feelings, real English. This will help your brain to live in English, not visit it like a tourist. I also used to look at everyday objects and say their names in English. Spoon, door, pen, shoes, water. Then I added actions. Open the door, drink water, write with a pen. Slowly, my brain stopped asking for translations. It started to think in English directly. That is when I noticed a big change. I was not just speaking better. I was understanding better. I was feeling more confident. I was becoming a speaker, not just a learner. The biggest mistake people make is thinking English is only for speaking. No. English is for living. You must live inside English. That means think in English, feel in English, and one day, dream in English. That is when it becomes part of you, not something outside of you. When English lives in your mind, it will come out of your mouth naturally. You will not need to search for words. They will be ready, waiting. Remember, your brain is your best friend, but only if you train it the right way. Don't feed it with fear. Feed it with small English thoughts every day. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Even 1 minute of English thinking is better than 10 minutes of translation. Start with easy sentences. I like this. I want to go. It is sunny. These are real thoughts. These are the first steps. You can do this. Chapter 8. Small talk that builds big connections. I used to hate small talk. It felt fake. It felt pointless. Nice weather today. How was your weekend? Did you see the game last night? I didn't know how to answer. I didn't even know why people said these things. In my language, people only talk when there is something important to say. But in English, small talk is not small. It is how people connect. It is how they show kindness. It is how they begin trust. And trust, that leads to real conversation. So I had to change how I saw it. I stopped calling it useless talk. I started calling it door-opening talk. Because that's what it is. A soft knock before entering someone's world. I remember one day I stood next to a man in the elevator at my office. I was quiet, like always. He looked at me and said, "Long day, huh?" I didn't expect it. I smiled. I said, "Yes, very long. I want to sleep right here." He laughed. I laughed. That one sentence made us feel like friends. A few days later, we talked again. Then again. Weeks later, he helped me with my first client. All from a simple line in the elevator. That's when I truly understood something. Small talk isn't about words. It's about warmth. It's not about information. It's about connection. So I made a little list. Easy small talk lines. I practiced them in my head, then in real life. Busy day? How was your weekend? This coffee is strong today. Do you come here often? I like your shoes. These simple lines opened hearts. People smiled. Some talked more. Some said, "Thank you." Some just nodded. But I was talking. I was growing. And little by little, I felt like I belonged in the room. When you want to speak English but don't know what to say, start small. Say something about the weather, about the room, about the coffee. Ask how someone's day is. Tell them you like their bag or their hat or their dog. You are not trying to say something deep. You are just tapping on the door. You are saying, "Hi, I'm friendly. Can we talk?" Sometimes the door opens. Sometimes it doesn't. That's okay. You tried. You spoke. That's how you win. I learned to smile more. I learned to use my eyes, my hands, my tone. Small talk is more than words. It's your energy, your face, your body. If you say, "I'm good, but your face is sad," the other person feels it. But if you say, "Not bad," with a little smile, they feel you. They want to talk. English is not just grammar and vocabulary. It's feeling. It's human. Small talk helps you share your human side. It's where big things begin. Sometimes the best conversations start like this. Hi, I'm new here. Or, is this seat taken? Or just, hey. You don't need long sentences. You just need courage. The first few seconds are the hardest. But once you say one line, the second line is easier. And guess what? The more you try, the easier it gets. Every conversation you start builds a stronger you. Now I teach this to others. I tell them, don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for perfect English. Open your mouth. Say something light. Then smile and listen. Some people will be friendly. Some won't. But you will grow. You will learn. You will stop feeling like a stranger in your own story. You will become the speaker of your life. Chapter 9. Body Language That Speaks Volumes. Before I learned how to speak English with words, I had already been speaking with my body. And guess what? So have you. Every day, every moment, without even knowing it. You cross your arms when you're nervous. You look away when you feel shy. You smile when you're happy. You nod when you agree. This is body language, and it speaks louder than words, especially when your English is still growing. I learned this one powerful truth. People don't just listen to what you say, they watch how you say it. Let me tell you about a day that changed me. I was at a job interview. I had practiced my answers all night. I memorized everything. But when I walked into the room, I forgot many words. My mouth was dry. My hands were shaking. I thought, I messed up. But the manager smiled and said, "You seem confident. I like your energy." Wait, what? I didn't feel confident. I didn't speak perfect English. But I sat tall. I looked him in the eye. I smiled when I talked. My body said, I believe in myself, even when my words were not perfect. And that, my friend, is the power of body language. How can you use body language to speak better English? Let me share some tips that helped me and will help you too. Number 1, smile. A smile is your best friend in any language. When you smile, people want to talk to you. They feel safe. They feel welcome. When you smile, your voice also sounds warmer. And most of all, you feel better inside. Try it now. Smile. Say, "Hi, how are you?" Feels good, right? Number 2, eye contact. You don't need to stare, but looking into someone's eyes, just for a second or two, shows respect and interest. It tells the other person, I see you, I'm listening. Even if your grammar isn't perfect, eye contact shows that you care. Number 3, use your hands. Don't hide them in your pockets. Move them when you talk, just a little. When you say, I went there, point. When you say, it was this big, show it with your hands. These small movements help your listener see your words. They also help you feel more confident and natural. Number 4, posture. Stand or sit tall, not stiff, but open. Don't hunch your shoulders or look at the floor. When your body is open, your brain feels strong. Your energy changes. Try this experiment. Sit with your head down, shoulders bent, arms crossed. Now say, I'm very confident. Did it feel true? Now try this. Sit tall. Lift your chin. Open your arms. Take a deep breath. Now say, I'm very confident. Feel the difference? This is why body language matters. It's like turning on a light inside you. Real story. How one gesture changed my class. In my English class, there was a quiet girl named Priya. She never spoke, not even a hello, but she always smiled. One day I said to the class, raise your hand if you've ever felt shy in English. Slowly, one hand went up. It was Priya's. She didn't speak, but her hand spoke. It said, I feel this too. The whole room looked at her and smiled. In that moment, she felt seen. From that day, she started speaking little by little. That's the beauty of body language. Sometimes, a nod, a hand raise, a small smile can build trust faster than a full sentence. Body language for everyday English practice. When you practice English at home, don't just repeat words. Practice with your whole body. Smile when you say hello. Use your hands when you say, I love this book. Look in the mirror. Watch how your face moves. Practice saying yes with excitement. Practice saying no with calm confidence. Say, I'm learning while standing tall. This is not silly. This is smart. This is powerful. Because your body trains your brain, and your brain trains your voice. When I learned to use body language with my English, everything changed. People listened more. They remembered me more. And I felt stronger, even on bad days. English is not just what you say. English is also what you show. So even if you forget a word, even if you make a mistake, even if your accent is strong, let your body speak for you. It will say, I'm here. I'm learning. I'm ready to connect. And guess what? The world will listen. One day I was speaking with a woman named Sarah at my new job. She was kind, funny, and spoke fast English. I wanted to say, I'm excited to be here. But instead I said, I'm excited to be here. She looked confused. I didn't know why. Later I learned that excited means left. I laughed alone in the bathroom. I felt stupid. For a second, I wanted to stop speaking English forever. But then, I remembered something important. Mistakes are not the end. They are the beginning. Every mistake is a step forward. Every error is a lesson. Every oops is proof that you're trying. In school, we are taught to avoid mistakes. Mistakes mean bad grades. Mistakes mean failure. But in real life, mistakes mean progress. When you speak English and make a mistake, you are learning faster than someone who is quiet. Silence is safe, yes, but silence also stops you from growing. When babies learn to walk, they fall. When kids learn to ride a bike, they crash. But they always get back up. You can too. Here's what helped me. I changed how I reacted to mistakes. At first, I would feel ashamed. I would say sorry. I would feel small. But then I tried something new. I laughed. I smiled. I said, oops, I'm learning. That small change helped me talk more. I didn't feel like I had to be perfect. I just had to try. That's how real conversation begins. Not with perfect grammar, but with brave hearts. When you make a mistake, don't hide. Speak again. If someone corrects you, thank them. If someone doesn't understand you, try again. Use your hands. Use different words. Smile. Language is not just about words. It's about connection. People won't remember your small grammar mistakes. They will remember how you made them feel. You can even tell people, "I'm learning English, so I might say something wrong." Most people will be kind. Some will even help you. They will respect you for trying. Don't run from your mistakes. Use them. Let them become your teacher. Talk through them. Laugh through them. Grow through them. Remember this: confidence is not speaking perfectly. Confidence is speaking anyway. Chapter 11. Speak up in any situation. Let me tell you a story about my friend, Diego. He moved to Chicago from Mexico. Diego was a great cook, very smart and full of energy. But there was one thing he avoided: speaking English in public. One day, he and I went to a small coffee shop. I asked him to order for himself. He looked at me like I had asked him to jump into a fire. "I can't," he whispered. "Why not?" I asked. "I'll mess up. People will laugh," he said. I smiled. "Then let's mess up together." He walked to the counter slowly, like a soldier going into battle. His hands were shaking. But then he spoke. "Can I have one small coffee, please?" The girl at the counter smiled and said, "Sure, that was perfect." Diego smiled back. He did it. And you can too. Speaking up in any situation is one of the most powerful skills you can build. It doesn't mean shouting. It doesn't mean being loud. It means using your voice, even when you feel nervous. You may think, what if I say the wrong word? What if people don't understand me? What if I look stupid? Let me answer all three. Then you learn. Then you try again. Then you grow. You don't need perfect English to speak up. You need courage. Here's a secret. Most native English speakers love it when you try. They don't expect perfect grammar. They want to see your effort. Your effort shows that you respect their language. That builds connection. You can speak up when you are ordering food, asking for directions, joining a meeting at work, talking to someone new at a party, asking a question in class, giving your opinion in a group. In all these moments, the key is the same. Just speak. Don't wait. Don't overthink. Just speak. Here's a trick Diego used after that day in the coffee shop. He made a speak up list. Every day he would try to speak in one new situation, even just one sentence. Monday, say hello to the bus driver. Tuesday, ask the cashier how are you. Wednesday, make a phone call in English. Thursday, ask a coworker, did you watch the game? Friday, share one idea at work. Saturday, talk to a stranger in the park. Sunday, call his mom and tell her all the things he said. Each time he spoke, he felt braver. Each sentence was a victory. You can do this too. You don't need to feel ready. Just start. Action brings confidence. Speaking brings fluency. Every time you speak up, your English grows. Your fear shrinks. Speak like your voice matters because it does. And remember, the world is waiting to hear from you. Chapter 12. Real conversations, real practice. Let me tell you something important. You can learn English from books. You can study grammar. You can memorize vocabulary. But if you don't use English in real conversations, it's like learning to swim without water. You can't become a good swimmer by reading about swimming. You need to get in the water. The same is true for English. You need to talk to real people. You need real conversations. You need real practice. Let me tell you a story about a woman named Aisha. She moved to Texas from Kenya. Her English was okay, but she was very shy. She only spoke when she had to. One day, her neighbor, Mrs. Jenkins, invited her to a small lunch at her house. Aisha was scared. She thought, what if I say something wrong? What if they laugh at me? But she said yes. At the lunch, she didn't speak much at first. Then someone asked her, "What food do you like to cook?" Her eyes lit up. She smiled and said, "I love cooking chapati. It is flatbread, very tasty." Everyone leaned in. "Tell us more." That day, Aisha spoke more English than she had in a whole month. It was a real conversation, not from a book, not from a test. It was real life. And that's when her English started to grow faster. Here is the truth. Real conversations give you real results. Because in real life, you listen actively. You respond naturally. You learn what people really say. You use your words with emotion. And when you make a mistake in a real conversation, you remember it better. You learn from it. It sticks. So, how can you have more real conversations? Here are 6 ideas. Talk to friends in English. Even if you both speak another language, make a 5-minute English rule each day. Join English clubs online. Websites like conversationexchange.com or tandem.net help you meet people who want to talk. Practice with tourists. If you live in a place where tourists come, say hello. Ask where they're from. Start simple chats at work or school. Just 1 sentence a day. "Hi, how was your weekend?" That's all it takes to start. Use video calls. Find a speaking partner or teacher online. Even 15 minutes of real talking can change your confidence. Speak to yourself. Describe your day in English. Talk in the mirror. It still counts as real practice. You don't need perfect grammar to have a real conversation. You don't need big words. You only need the courage to try. You only need to open your mouth and let the words out, even if they're not perfect. Every conversation is a small bridge between you and the English-speaking world. Every sentence is a step forward. Real practice brings real progress. Real people bring real power to your learning. So go out and talk, because every voice matters, and your voice is ready to shine. Chapter 13. Make English a daily habit. Let's be real. Learning English once a week will not make you fluent. You don't need to study for 5 hours a day. But you do need to do something small every day. That's how fluency is built. 1 drop at a time. 1 habit at a time. Let me tell you a true story. There was a young man named Rafael from Brazil. He was very busy. He worked during the day and studied at night. He wanted to improve his English, but he had no time for long lessons. So, he started a new plan. Every morning, while brushing his teeth, he listened to a 3-minute English podcast. During lunch, he wrote one short sentence in English about his day. At night, he watched 5 minutes of an English show with subtitles. That's it. Only 10 minutes a day, but he did it every single day. After 3 months, he was speaking better. After 6 months, he was thinking in English. And after 1 year, he was teaching other people how to speak with confidence. The secret? Habit, not pressure. Here's why small daily English habits work. They train your brain to switch into English mode. They remove fear because it becomes normal. They build momentum. You start slow, but you go far. They are easy to keep so you don't quit. So how can you build daily English habits? Here are 10 powerful ideas. Choose 2 or 3 to start with. Wake up with English. Start your morning with one English sentence. Today will be a good day. Label your home. Put small stickers on items in your room: mirror, door, lamp. Learn those words daily. Speak 5 lines to yourself. In the mirror, say 5 things you did today or want to do tomorrow. Change your phone language. Switch your mobile to English. You'll learn without even trying. Watch one English video a day, even if it's 3 minutes long. Use subtitles at first. Read one short article or quote. Choose things that make you smile. It helps you connect with the words. Listen while walking or cleaning. Play English music, podcasts, or audiobooks in the background. Write one sentence about your day. Even just, "I felt happy today because I had coffee." Use new words in real life. Learn one new word and try to use it in conversation or in your journal. End your day with English. Say one thing you're thankful for in English before sleeping. The key is this: do something small, but do it every day. Because English is not just a subject, it's a lifestyle. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't do it once a week, right? You do it every day, even for 2 minutes, because it keeps you fresh. Same with English. Even 5 minutes a day keeps your skills alive and growing. So remember, you don't need more time. You need more rhythm. You need a small daily beat. And every day your English will grow stronger and more natural. Because success doesn't come from one big effort. It comes from small daily steps that move you forward. Chapter 14. From Awkward to Effortless. Let's be honest. Speaking English in the beginning feels awkward. You know what you want to say, but the words don't come out right. You feel nervous. You forget grammar. You stop and say, what's the word? It's okay. Everyone goes through this stage. Even native speakers feel awkward when learning a new language. Even confident people freeze when they can't find the right word. But here's the good news. Awkward is not forever. Awkward is just the bridge. If you keep walking, you will reach the other side. Effortless. speaking naturally, thinking in English, flowing like water. Let's talk about the 4 stages every learner passes through. 1. Silent stage. You listen. You understand a little, but you don't speak yet. That's okay. Your brain is learning. 2. Broken stage. You speak in small pieces. Grammar is messy. You feel embarrassed sometimes, but this is progress. 3. Survival stage. You can have short conversations. You make mistakes, but people understand you. You're building confidence. 4. Effortless stage. You speak without translating. You feel relaxed. You express your thoughts clearly. Everyone moves through these stages step by step. But how fast you move depends on one thing: practice. Real, fearless practice. Here's how to go from awkward to effortless. 1. Accept mistakes like a friend. Don't fight your errors. Say them, laugh, and learn. Every mistake is a teacher in disguise. 2. Use your body. Talk with your hands. Use your face. When your body speaks with your words, your English becomes powerful. 3. Copy real people. Choose a native speaker you like, maybe an actor, a YouTuber, or a TED speaker. Repeat their lines. Copy their tone, rhythm, and expressions. This trains your mouth to move like a native speaker. 4. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Speak slowly at first. That's how you build control. When you're smooth, speed will come naturally. 5. Practice real emotions. Don't just say the words, feel the words. Say, I'm excited, like you mean it. Say, I'm tired, like you are tired. This connects your English with your feelings and makes you sound real. Let me share a story. There was a woman named Grace from South Korea. When she moved to California, she was shy. She avoided conversations. She was afraid of saying something wrong. But one day her teacher told her, Grace, speak like a child who's learning to walk. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to try. So she did. She started with small sentences. I like tea. I go work now. She smiled when she made mistakes. She laughed with others. She watched English dramas and copied the actors. She stood in front of the mirror and practiced emotions. She joined a local language club. She even made a video diary to track her progress. And after 1 year, Grace was giving a speech at her company's international meeting. Fluent, confident, natural. From awkward to effortless. You can do it too. Remember these golden rules. Every speaker was once a beginner. Fluency is not magic. It's a result of practice. Don't wait to be perfect. Speak now. Learn as you go. The more you speak, the easier it becomes. Mistakes are your secret power. Let English live in your mouth. Let it move through your hands, your eyes, your feelings. Let it become part of you, not just words, but life. Because fluency isn't only about grammar and vocabulary. It's about freedom. It's the moment when you stop thinking and just speak, and that moment will come. Keep going.